All right. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Before I start, I'd like to give a notice to the media. Spartanburg County School District 5 has complied with the requirements of the Freedom of Information Act in notification of the media and other interested parties and organizations and posting of the agenda. We now need approval of the minutes. Are there any questions, comments on the agenda? All right, hearing that I don't see or hear none, we will consider those approved. I will now hand it over to Dr. Gary.
Thank you very much, and good morning to each of you. As you're aware, each year we schedule before our June meeting, when we approve our budget. We have 3 scheduled finance committee meetings, 2 that we definitely have, and 1 if needed. If any of our projections of revenue or expenditures change, there's a need for a third. Most times we got that. This is the first one. This point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Dominion. She's going to kind of walk you through our first draft of our budget.
Good morning, everybody. Before you, I gave you a blue folder with some information in it that we're going to go over this morning. At the front of the packet is the capital projects for 26-27. These projects we would like to fund from our capital projects funds. That's where we transfer our excess revenue every year from our general fund. I have a list of those projects if you'd like to kind of look through those, if you have any questions about any of those. We are adding a portable at Abner Creek Academy. So we have the expense for the rent for the portable. We need to furnish those classrooms. There's a new neighborhood near Abner Creek Middle, so we're going to put up another fence at Abner Creek Middle. Then also at Berry Shoals. We've kind of, Ryan Clunan has worked hard to try to get on a paint schedule and a flooring schedule. And so we're working to get Berry Shoals, DR Hill, and Florence Chapel where they're good right now, so we can keep them on schedule to keep that continuing maintenance done. One of the big items is the sound and light system at the Fine Arts Center. Our Fine Arts Center was built in the early 2000s, I believe. 2009. And the system over there is an analog system, which is obsolete. And so we're running into issue as equipment fails. We're having to kind of borrow equipment from vendors and things like that. So we would like to upgrade that system so that it is able to serve our students.
How many portables will that cover over that?
That'll be 2 portables, 2. And that's the annual rental.
And how long are we thinking that we're going to be needing these?
We should be able to lose those when we open our next elementary school. That is the plan. The maintenance equipment, there is a work van for maintenance. And then the equipment, I'm not even going to try to tell you exactly what they do, but it's to help manage our fields.
The Middle Tiger Education Center, can you give a little more detail about all of those things?
As you're aware, the second floor at the Middle Tiger Education Center across the street, we had, as part of that agreement, we had agreed to do the cameras for safety and security. So there's some software involved with that, the phone system and the intercom system. With our curriculum and instruction staff being on that second floor, we need our phones to interact with the phones over there. So that's the expense to kind of get that set up over there. And Sam has been working closely with them on that. The other thing that caught me as odd, which I'm going to go ahead and explain, we're replacing storefront doors at River Ridge and what's the other one? Berry Shoals. There are 2 sets of doors at Berry Shoals and only 1 set at River Ridge. So that's why there's the price difference there.
Will we be depreciating some of these like software, like the fine arts equipment, or is that going to be?
It would be a fixed asset that would be depreciated. Yes.
Okay.
And we depreciate. We record anything $5,000 or more as a fixed asset.
5,000 more. Okay.
Who's heading up the sound and light system replacement for the district?
Casey Cotter is
Okay.
the director for the Fine Arts Center. She's kind of leading that. She has, some other people that this is happening as well.
And also, they do have consultants. They use music. Is that one? There's a vendor that specializes in
Okay,
doing
that's what I was.
these types of not arenas, but Fine Arts Center. And I don't know if they're using music craft for this particular venue, but oftentimes it's music craft or some vendor like them or consultant that comes
And
in.
Casey will work with them
Yes,
to get
that's
it.
correct.
Okay.
And her and Mr. Clooney.
Yes, we've got an initial quote, but we have not gone through the procurement process yet, so. Nice.
One last quick question. Back and forth here. The track and soccer lighting, soccer field. What all are we doing for that? For that 300,000? I know there's been issues with transformers and shutting off during games and all those things for several years. So.
Oh my God. That was crazy. That was weird. Scott, that's power.
All right, yes,
My
sir.
goodness.
Nice time to shut up.
I gotta switch over here. Go ahead.
I didn't know Sam had my switch back there. As you said, soccer and track field lighting does happen to go off sometimes. Just it's kind of spontaneous. We don't know when it's going to happen. And it's not in the electrical gearing. It's actually in the lighting. The gearing is old, and as it ages, it breaks down a little bit in its capacity. But those are metal halide lights. They're not LEDs. So what we want to do is replace all the light heads, leave the poles in place, so that reduces the electrical load on that facility, and then it will improve the lighting as well.
Okay, so we will be switching over to all LEDs over there instead of.
Yes. Right. And this is a quote. Of course, we'd have to bid that out.
Right. So it's not necessarily rewiring and doing everything, or we think there's enough of the guts of the system
Yes.
in place.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, if we don't have any more questions about that, we can move on to the executive summary of budget changes. Basically, this is a summary of what we've added to last year's budget. So basically, we do an incremental budget. So at the top, we start with our salary increases. All of our eligible employees receive a step increase each year. The budgeted amount for that is right at $1.6 million. We have increased our teacher salary schedule. For our new board members who are probably already aware of this, we share the same teacher salary schedule with all the Spartanburg districts, and we agreed to do $2,000, add $2,000 to every cell on the schedule. And I've put this salary schedules behind this document. The only exceptions are on the bachelor's step 0 through 9. We added a little more than $2,000 to those because we were really falling behind in being competitive with that recruiting. We were going to be less than 2% above the state minimum, so we were trying to keep those first year more competitive. So the most we added was 3,500 to one step, but they ranged from 2,500 to 3,500 to just try to make us more competitive when we're recruiting our teachers. So the cost for that was $2.6 million. The next increase is an increase to the supplement schedule. Those are the supplements paid for athletics and fine arts. They are, historically, we've set that schedule and it's stayed that way for a period of time, and then we reevaluated. At this time, we're increasing that we would like to increase that by 15%. And then moving forward, rather than waiting 4 or 5 years before we look at that again, we're going to continue to give them the schedule an increase equal to what we give the other schedules, so that kind of continually goes up, so that they are seeing those increases every year instead of waiting until we analyze. And that takes me into the next slide, which is where we've increased the other salary schedules by 3%. I took the percentage increase to the teacher salary schedule, and it was an average of and that's, we've historically increased our other salary schedules based on that salary schedule. And then we don't have an increase for health insurance for 2027, but there was an increase in 2026, so we've got to pick up that other half year for the health insurance there. With the positions, at the beginning, we have our certified staff. We've added 26.5 certified FTEs for 2.75 million. And then we've added other non-certified positions for 24.25 FTEs. You'll notice the last one is a negative number. Last year, we approved a fleet mechanic for our bus lot. We had a hard time filling that position, so we eliminated that position, and then you'll also see that we're adding a couple of positions for the transportation lot, so that, you know, with us opening the transportation lot on the southern end of the district, that helps kind of offset that cost as well.
I see we're adding an accountant. Is that just an extra person on the finance team?
Yes, that is just an extra person on the finance team to help with kind of day-to-day functions, bank reconciliations and things like that, so that we can focus on some of those other analytical items. If we don't have any other questions, I'll move on to the other non-personnel.
Two quick questions. So on the custodians, we didn't necessarily add any new schools this year. Are we just finding that we just need more help everywhere?
We added a lot of square footage at Burns.
Oh, yeah.
So we added a lot of square footage at Burns, and then you'll also see the, when we get down to the non-personnel, which kind of is a personnel, but it's a contracted service, we've also added a school resource officer because of that extra square footage over there at Burns.
Okay. And then one other related question, you said we were increasing those first 9 steps on the bachelor's on the schedule. Is that something that we have collectively done with all of the other districts? Okay.
We got them to agree to that.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like to add, you asked a question about the custodians, and yes, we have added a lot of square footage, but also one of the things we're looking at with our new director of custodians is just having a ratio of custodians to square footage. And we haven't quite hit that ratio yet. So we're trying to, in time, get to that number. But of course, in 2028, we'll be adding more square footage. So it's a moving target, but that's our goal to get to. We have X number of custodians for X number of square feet. So that's kind of what we have.
I think we talked about that before, just making sure that we have enough and finding places where we're lacking there with our maintenance staff, with our grounds, people, everything, trying to support them a little better.
Right.
Yeah.
And in addition to Burns, we also opened the stadium, has additional square footage this year. And we're about to open this transportation hub too, that, you know, although there aren't a ton of kids in it, it's going to be busy all day. So there's plenty of work for them to do.
The number of it just got me thinking about it. I don't know how many we added when we added additional schools last year.
Are we subcontracting some of our, I guess, grass cutting and stuff like that?
Some of
I noticed a subcontractor in one of our schools cutting grass.
Yes, a couple of years ago when we opened our new schools, I think, Mr. Tony, I think it's at Tiger River, Avenue Creek Middle, Avenue Creek Academy. Was only one. So that was, we talk about square footage, a lot of acreage that we had, especially at Tiger River's huge campus, and even with Avenue Creek Middle. So some of those, sometimes it's easier to contract it out than to get permanent people to fill those positions. So that's kind of working out pretty good for us.
Working out good. Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the other question I have in terms of just ratios we're talking about. I mean, and you know, I mention this all the time. We still feel good about the teacher to student ratio. You know, are we keeping up with the head count? You know. Okay. All right.
Yes.
I'm looking at big picture, 11.1 increase in general budget. Do we have that coming in revenue over last year?
I think we can do this.
Okay,
Dr. Gary has challenged me to a no millage increase,
good.
and I tried to keep it. I wanted it under 11, but we're slightly over 11.
And with all the building, we only see that going up in the future. Revenue coming in with taxes.
Hopefully, when I haven't gotten the other assessed values from the county, so I'll have a better picture of revenue when that comes out.
And we've asked that question, and I've asked that question many times, because we want to continue to be competitive in every way so that we're not losing students, because when we lose students, we lose revenue. So we're continuing to work to just retain. We talk about retaining teachers, but we can do the same thing, retain our students.
I see that we're moving the Kate salaries into EIA. Is that a long-term plan, or is that just a 1 year?
That is, it's as long as the state can move the money. Let me just explain. We got our projections from the State Department of Ed a few weeks ago, and they're playing what I call the shell game. So they're moving the funding for Kate from our general fund revenue to our EIA revenue. So it was that number, 1.2 million, they are moving to EIA Kate, which salaries for Kate teachers is allowable in that fund. So I'm moving basically all the Kate teachers that are at Burns to EIA. If they move it back to the general fund, I'll have to move them back to the general fund, because prior to this allocation being added to that, we missed them.
I just know that's a large number that would then go back into this bottom line
Right.
of extra.
Only if the money goes back,
Right.
too.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Some of the, I just want to point out, the numbers in italics are placeholders. They're basically the contract amounts that I saw last year. Haven't gotten final numbers from some of our vendors on increases to operating contracts and property and casualty insurance.
Can I go back and ask one more question about the capital projects? The portables that are being added for 2 years? I know you guys have looked at the number of students that have requested transfer and balanced that with, accepting those transfers versus the portables.
Avamere Creek is close to choice, correct?
Yes, it
Right.
is. It is close
That
to
school
choice.
is close to
Yes.
choice.
Okay.
Yes.
So what we have to make sure that we have, remember those schools where the kids were actually zoned there. That's
Right.
why. And it is our hope, and we feel confident about it, but once we open up the new elementary school on Lightwood Knott Road, then we're gonna redraw these attendance lines and bring the enrollment down at that school and a couple others as well. Did I answer your question?
Yes, I didn't realize it was closed to choice.
Yes.
I know a lot of people that have done choice, so I was curious.
So when 2 years ago, when we redrew attendance lines, we opened up the choice and we allowed some to grandfather in, especially those in the upper grades. Since that point in time, this is since 2024, for the last 2 years, correct? And this will be the third year, we have closed it, so no new students were able to go there on choice.
That's the difference, I didn't know. Thank you.
Yes. So, and hopefully, once we open these other schools, we'll reevaluate the zoned attendance of each of those schools. And we would like to be in a position where all of our schools are open for choice. I can't say that today, but that is our hope.
Fair enough.
Avamere Creek, Lawrence Chapel.
That are closed to
That are
choice.
close to
Reedville,
choice.
Avamere Creek
So
Middle.
middle school, Florence Chapel,
Yeah.
Avamere Creek closed.
Reedville?
Yeah,
Reedville still closed?
Elementary, Reedville is closed, Avamere Creek Academy is closed, Lyman is closed. River Ridge is closed. The only elementary on this side of the district that is open is Berry Shoals. And over here we have Duncan, Tiger River, and
Welford?
Welford
Might be
for this moment.
That's why we're building these schools.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Reedville was still closed, because I thought they were limiting some kindergarten classes.
That's what I heard,
I appreciate you letting us know. We'll look into that.
I may know somebody.
Both of them may know somebody.
Any other questions, Mr. Denny?
And then the last thing in your packet is drafts of all of our salary schedules. For your reference. Mark them all as drafts, but, in the final budget book, we'll get on this. Normally, at this point, we don't change the salary schedules unless something crazy happens.
Guess you can't get any help.
Any other questions before I turn over to our chair? You, sir.
I appreciate it. I guess we can call this meeting closed at what time we got?
You're quick.
8:22.
Today.
All right. Thank you.
All right, meeting's adjourned.